Hello, everybody. How we doing tonight? I am here, and I've got some things here. I hope you can see them. Adjusting the lights and this YouTube lighting, the way they compress light and sound and everything is can be a little confusing. You don't have to be able to see the pedal tonight. But what I want to do is I want to continue from our discussion last night about DAs and DITs and DOT-ITs and all of those things with a piece I wrote called The Pirate, which was for late grade 1 kids. But it explains a lot about what we were talking about last night. Okay, the beginning of this piece starts with a simple scale, D, E, F, G, A, and the count is 1 and 2 and 3 on the first 5 notes. So your loud notes are the 1 and the 5. And they're to be played legato with a staccato on that last A. So how does this tell us how to play? It's telling us we want a loud first note. The next notes are not very loud, but the last one is. So the technique we're going to use is a drop and a roll of 5 notes. Da 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 dit, this way. And we're pushing away hard on that last note. Okay? So here the count and the articulation tell us how to approach this. We have legato. That's not the legato curse. The legato curse would be this. Okay, that would be the legato curse. This is not the legato curse. The hand is falling into the first note, playing 3 notes, and pushing away hard on that last one. Then that would, to me, that's like the first arrow. Then it's kind of the first syllable of the piece. We'll draw a little arrow in between here. Hopefully you can see the colors. This is still a work in progress as far as the technical part goes. Now we have a very weak 4th beat and a very heavy 1st beat. So we're going to be using our thumb, which it was on the D already. Now the problem is I would love to use the pedal for this long D, but I'm going to have to use tenuto. I'm going to have to hold him over a little bit, mainly because I have the short left hand coming in on the weaker second beat, but he's staccato. And then we have the longer and heavier 3rd beat, and this guy is being held for that 4th beat. So the next arrow has like an echo implied. You have 4-1, then you have 2-3. But on the 3, because I'm ending there for 2 beats, I can then let go of all the hands. All the hands can come up at that point because the pedal is going to go down to sustain these guys. So the playing is going to be a little different than the sound because the pedal is coming in. We just couldn't use pedal before this because there was no appropriate place for it. So our next arrow goes dit da, dit da. The first da is going to be held a little bit with the finger, not held, not pushed down. Just let the finger stay on it. And then you're going to play the 2-3 here. And on the 3, we're going to put our pedal down. So we have, and the hands are up then, not as far as I lifted them. So our first 2 arrows here are these 2. And you can see my hands come up at the end, but it's 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ba-ba-da-ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. Or as I tell the kids, da-da-da-da, dit, dit, da, dit, da. And that's the way the hands play it. Sorry. So our pedal picks it up at the end. Now, the next phrase is exactly like this, so I didn't do a page for it. The next phrase is the 2 notes down here change. But our hands were off that, and you have all that time to do whatever you want with your left hand. Just be ready for these 2. So a like phrase follows it. So here, the count, the phrasing, the markings tell us exactly how to play it. Now, what follows that? Okay, what follows that is a couple of scales. I did not draw them. The next thing in the piece is a scale going, the 5-note scale from the beginning going up, the one where we dropped and rolled up a 5-note scale and pushed away in the last one, and then I have a scale coming down. But we played that before. We played that type of arrow before. So, and they have the count 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3, and there's no pedal at the end because those notes are supposed to be long. I mean, short. If they were supposed to be long, our hand would have done exactly the same thing, except we would have used the pedal to hold it. The legato curse would be leaving yourself no time to move, not doing anything to help the meter and its accents at all. So that's the legato curse. That's when, it's not when you use legato, it's when you get stuck on the keys with legato, okay? Now here's the next guy. He has, in the piece, he has like 3 little syllable arrows here. I would draw them like this. Some of them will look familiar to you. The da, dit, da is part of the one we did before. So that's an old one. Da, dit, da with the pedal after you got to tenuto him a little bit over here. I forget the color I use. I guess this is fine. I had to tenuto that over so that the pedal would grab them together here. But what are these two guys? Okay, these are little guys. They're little 3-beat guys. You've got 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Now, in terms of accent, we got to talk about this. Third finger had to come down to here. That was a change from where we were. Just to let you know what came before it, we were here. And coming off that last key was a ghost. So we had a ghost coming into this. We had to get the hand up in the air to land on that 3. But let's talk about the count. We have a 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4. Now, because normally the 2 and the 1 would not be quite as loud as each other, or the 3 and the 4. But remember, we talked about something about notes being longer. And if we didn't, we'll talk about it now. When you have the 1 and 2, if you can see it here, let me draw it on here. If you have the 1 and 2 and the 3 and 4, and I want to make it to scale. Normally, the 2 and the 4 are less than 3 and 1. Okay? It's the loudness 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And so that's kind of the way 4 lay out. When we have nothing on these 2 beats, they're there. The beats are still there. Don't get me wrong on that. The notes are longer. And when they're longer, they pick up a little more accent. It's called a Godric accent. This is not something new. All the great composers knew about this natural tendency. So when we're playing this, we have little short versions of that first 5-note scale. Here you've got little shorter versions. So you have da-da-dit, da-da-dit, and that da, the small da here, but then you get the big dit, and that dit's a little bit louder than it would normally be. You're pushing away from it. And that's the second arrow. He has a note at the end of him. Yep, sorry. Remember, these are not fingers. The fingers are 3 here. 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you land with that and you stay on it and you get the same figure you had before. So, and then the pedal comes in, the hands can come up. I hope you can see me playing that. But watch the keys I'm hitting. And you can see the hands coming off those keys at the end. Again, the rhythm told us what to do. The phrasing and the articulation told us what to do. There are basically 3 types of articulation, just to cover that topic for a second. I knew tonight would be loaded. We have slurs, which means to essentially play legato, to keep the notes connected to them. Then we have the staccatos. Those are little dots. I'll make them a little bigger here. And those mean short notes. Okay? These are your das. These are your dits. Okay? But we also have a thing. It's hard to draw it. It's like, I'll draw it above this. It's a detached. It's where notes can be long like that. They're not staccato, but they're not connected. You can hear the little space between them. Those are and there are degrees of detached. So you've got three really different articulation markings. When somebody's yelling at their kid for doing something, they'll go, "Stop that," and that's very staccato. Legato is the slurs are fine for a while, but did you ever hear anybody drone on like this and they just keep talking and you want them to inhale? Well, that can be overdone, but certainly we do it when we say the words in a sentence. I want to go out tomorrow. It's very legato, but we stop at the end. That's why I say legato never goes on very long. We always come up for air somewhere. And detached, well, that's like, I'm going to buy some potatoes, some onions, a little celery, and you're stopping in between, but all of them are kind of long. They're not short per se. So it happens in real life. It happens in language. So this is our count now. All right. So our piece up to that point sounded like this. And you can see hands are in the air a lot. A couple of times you heard the sound continue, but that was the pedal. Okay, let's move on. Next page. What do I do next? This is interesting. This is a very important page. I'll tell you why. Because it has the same 5 notes we had at the beginning. At the beginning we had, and we played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. We're not going to do it the same here, even though we have the same notes, D, E, F, G, A. We're not going to be doing, we're not going to be doing what we did at the beginning. And this is where it gets important. It's not the order of notes. It's the context of the count and the articulation, which here tells us a group of 4 notes where the loud one is at the beginning, 1 and 2 and. Then you've got a big 3 and 4 and. So our 2 loud notes are here. It's going to be with 1 and 5. But the 5 this time, you're not pushing away on, you're starting a group of 4 on that 5. And so we have a strong note going up these 4 notes, strong note at the beginning, and another 4 notes, strong note at the beginning coming down. So instead of, you've got da 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 dit da 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 dit da. So the das and dits are different than it was at the beginning. Da 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 dit. Da, big da, 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 dit. We didn't have that dit there at the beginning. The dit was the 5. Da, 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 dit. But here we've got da, 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 dit, da, 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 dit. And then we're ending on the D, da. And that's like before. You have your da, dit, da in the left hand with the pedaling, the tenuto, the whole thing. So that's kind of like something we've done before. But these 2 guys are brand new. But Jeff, it's a D up to an A. No, I just explained it. You got a group of 4 and a group of 4. Before you had a group of 5 starting and ending on a loud note. They're different. Physically different on the piano. That's the biggest point. Okay, the next thing I do in the piece is the same thing, 1 step lower. So you can hear, it's a totally different context for that scale. Okay, so getting to the next page, this gets this is the bridge of the song. This gets kind of interesting. The next thing I did was I just started playing groups of 4 notes, and these came out of the concept of the one I just showed you. This guy, da 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 da. So I grabbed that group of 4 notes and just started repeating it, starting on the A, and the left hand's good. They're going to play together. Da 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 da, getting louder the whole time. You can watch your dynamics. That certainly helps. These might have had these slur marks underneath. That's fine. So here we've got the dits at the da 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 it, da 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 it. Now, because your hand is up in the air here, it's very simple coming down on a D now, even though you started on a C. So we have this. And by landing on that first thumb, all your accent values come out all right. The left hand is just hitting this A and staying on it, because you can use some pedal. I didn't mark it in. And if you want to do the crescendo more, start a little softer. But you're always dropping into that thumb, and this tells you to do that, particularly with these slur marks underneath. By the way, a slur mark very often, some of them are used to do phrases. Don't even look at them. But when you see a slur mark put in under a few notes, remember that whatever the last note is here, it's generally going to be shorter. Okay? If the slur marks are written in really accurately, sometimes they're not. You got to be careful of them. Here, the way I wrote these, they're very accurate. So we've got. So what comes next? Let's take a look. Very interesting line. Everything here is played staccato. Now, this is just the kind of place where kids or anybody, students, look at it and go, oh, I get it. I got to do this, okay? And it is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is right fingering. No, you're not going to play it that way. And it says to slow down also. It doesn't say to play staccato notes, but it's exactly the way a pianist would play it. He would play it this way. First of all, your count, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. So, sorry, the 2's over a little further. 3, 4. So what have we got here? Dot, dit, dot, dit, dot, dit, dot, dit. It's slowing down as we go. It stays loud. Dot, dit, dot, dit, dot, dit, dot, dit. I slowed down. The left hand, do you have to hold those? No, because here it was marked to let the pedal do all of this and to change that pedal on every one of these left-hand notes. So, technically, what do we do? That, but with the pedal in use, everything's getting sustained. All right? So there. Again, looks like these are held. They are with the pedal. There's no reason to hold them with the hand. We just have to hit them, that's all. Etc. Now, next page. What did I do next? Well, the next thing I did was I repeated the beginning again. And yeah, so I just added 3-note chords. Then I put this part in. Sorry, a G. Now again, here we can't use the pedal right away because we have a short chord coming in. Da da it, and that was 3 and 4. That was the one again that had the louder 4 because it's a longer note. Then we have a pretty long note here. The thumb is going to hit him. He's going to hold on for a second. And the left hand has to play a short chord going to a long chord. This is on the second beat. This is a big 3. And that's when the pedal comes in again. So you can see all the things in the page, if you break them down properly, are telling you what to do and for how long to do it. It's not just that note, that note, that note, that note, that finger, that finger. No, you're in these groups. They have loudnesses. They have a design. And the last one is 3 and 4, da, da, dit, da. And then you've got the short dit, da. It's like an echo of these last 2 notes. Dit, da. Okay? Then we have a big long wait here. At the very end, the pedal stays down, and we play 3 short Ds with the right and left hand. But that, and then we lift our pedal right as we hit that last note. So, again, it tells us what to do. Da, da, dit, da, dit, da. Pedal down. And there you go. You have all that time in here to move. With the legato curse, this is what a person's hands would look like. And they would do this. They would stay there. Okay. When I hit that, my hands are in the air. They're already down here waiting for the 1-2 beats to pass before doing that. If I count it with the meter, you'll see it. 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. I didn't hold the pedal long enough. It's hard to count and do all this at once. 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3. 2 and 3. And again, that the 2 and, it shouldn't be that. There should be that, the 2 soft ones before the louder one, being that one with the accent over it. Don't need the accent on the 3rd beat. So that's the anatomy of a piece I wrote, looking at the count and letting the count and the articulations, these guys, tell us what to do with the fingers. Now, I didn't write a lot of, there was a 4 here. Generally, in a good edition, you'll see good fingerings. In a bad edition, you'll see bad fingerings. The good edition was followed I'll call it the dictate. It's not a dictate, but it is the vision of the composer, and he wrote this stuff, if he's a good composer, and really told us where to play it, and he put it in places that would tell us how loud to be on the syllables of each of these musical words. That's the deal. Loud, soft, loud, loud, soft, loud, soft, soft, loud. Okay? So hopefully this gives you a little bit more of an insight into the fact that rhythm really, really, really is what tells us what to do. That doesn't mean it's all going to be easy to learn. Tomorrow night, I'd maybe like to talk about exercises, how every part of a piece can be an exercise. Every one of these arrows. I mean, this in a way, what would a guy writing an exercise do with that? Well, he would say, okay, we got to learn that. And that would be the exercise, to get good at that. The exercises come out of the arrows. And a lot of these exercise books, they don't do very well with exercising, because it's not a practical thing. Without the das and the dits and the emphasis and everything else, you're kind of wasting your time doing an exercise. That was another thing I wanted to show you. The same length played in different settings, where it would be different for each rhythmic setting, even if it's the same notes. Perhaps that will be tomorrow night. I got to think about it. But anyway, I hope you were enlightened tonight, and I will be back tomorrow at 10 o'clock. And where words fail, music speaks.